So I'm going to show you how to exaggerate the crossover overlap effect of the leaves. So we're going to try and exaggerate one side or another of these leaves to make it look as though this leaf goes over the top of it. So I'm just trying to make the colour between the two look as different as possible. So I think I'm going to exaggerate the lightness of this leaf by creating darker areas behind. It's almost like shadow. So you can imagine that this part of the leaf then is in shadow. Now there's a contrast between here and here. So after you've painted your abstract, you can exaggerate the detail and exaggerate the crossover. So this one I'm going to create, I think again I'm going to put a shadow underneath there to make it look as though that leaf is crossing over. So I've put a dark bit of watercolour in, and then I'm going to brush it away with some water just to taper it away so it looks a bit more natural and blends with the rest. I'm not quite sure whether or not there's enough of a line here on the top edge, so what I'm going to do is go back in with another colour just to strengthen that. So it's just creating contrasts to give the illusion of the leaves crossing over each other. And then I'm going to put a little bit of detail into the leaves. So let's concentrate on this one here. Some of the reeds had a lighter edge and a deeper colour on the inside. So I'm just going to get that deeper colour and just bring it to almost to the edge. It looks really strong at the minute, but then I'm going to add some water. And just taper that out. And then some of those reeds had a bit of brown on the very tip. So I'm going to just bring some brown in there. Could do this with a finer brush. Just create that effect. The brown end of the reed there. To create a little bit more realism. I could do that on some of the others. Got a bit of a blunt end on this one, so I could exaggerate that. Just wash that down with water there. And other things you could do, you could create a bit of a turn in the top of the leaf. So if we could imagine that the top of this one, for example, curled back on itself or folded back on itself, and it would be in slight shadow, so we can create a little shape like this, which makes it look like it's going behind slightly. So the highlight on front and the shadow behind. So again, that will create some interest in the piece, if not all of the leaves are exactly perfect and going in the same direction. So it's starting to look a little bit more like grasses or reeds. And then finally, if you get probably a finer brush, you can make some texture on the reeds with a deeper tone. some fine lines. Again, put more of these in the area that you consider to be a shaded area, and the area that you consider to be highlight, to leave that alone. So perhaps the highlight is coming here, so I will work the lines into the deeper toned area. Try and mix your tones, mix your different greens so it doesn't seem too flat. See how it's drying lighter, to add to it as you go along. See how it's drying for you. You may want to add into the shadows to exaggerate them.